Welcome, welcome, my gorgeous, my lovely, my sunny girl. Welcome to today's show. What I've realized is that having music at the beginning makes it all just sound distorted. So we'll skip that and go to this. Instead, we'll have this. Oh, welcome. Thank you for letting me be my crazy me, my silly me, my happy me. So all this, but today we have it's a serious topic, but it's a real topic. I'll set the scene for you. You have moved to a new country. You're very happy. You're a sunny girl. You come from a sunny country where people have a sunny disposition, and you've moved to a place that has less sun all around. And it was a dream. You're very happy. You're working, you are an entrepreneur, you're doing something different, and you're happy with your move, but there are things that you need to deal with. So they're the obvious ones that you'll know, that you need to find somewhere to stay, that you need to figure out medical, that if you have kids, you have to figure out where they go to school and stuff like that. But there are other issues that do not come to the forefront, and that's what we're discussing today. We have 6 points. And my favorite is actually strangely number three. Number three, yeah, number three. I thought it would be another one, but there we go. My favorite is number three. So listen on in and let's get to that. So, the very first thing that I want to talk about, if you're not new here, you know that we talk about the good girl. Let me just say the good girl does not work in these other markets. Being a good girl, the non-sunny people were not trained that way necessarily. There is some good girl paradigm all across the world, but there's something about these countries, like where I'm from Kenya, where you're just taught so much more about how the emphasis on being the good girl means that you are the smaller one. You always make yourself small. And I'll give you the example. I myself live in Sweden, and I moved here 5 years ago. Before that, I lived in South Africa. I lived there for 4 years. Before that, I lived in Kenya. When I was younger, I lived in France. I've lived in a number of places. But let me tell you something that shocked me. I think it was yesterday or the day before. Bear with me. So, what happened is when I first moved into this country, I realized that I was really trying to make myself small. And how it really struck me is the day I noticed that when I go to the supermarket and I want to go to the fridge section, and there's someone behind me waiting to go to the fridge section, I'll step aside and let them shop first. Why? Why? Because I thought that everyone else had more important things to do than I. I have to be the smaller one. You need to let other people go first. That is what I was taught. Girlfriend, believe me, you'll be in that supermarket forever. If you just keep stepping aside for everyone to shop, they'll gladly take your space. And this is not even a sunny world thing. This is just universal. It's something that you've been taught, but it's just so much more clear to see when you have moved into a different country that just does things differently. So what surprised me yesterday is I found myself again walking. I was walking, and then I thought to myself that the person there was a staircase. We are approaching a staircase, and I thought that the person behind me should go before because they must be in a hurry. And I caught myself in the moment, and I said, "Chick, you've been working on this. You've been here for 5 years. This is some work you did 5 years ago." So all this to say that sometimes there is regression, but the point is to find it and take note of it. Ay, ay, ay. No, this is good. Actually, this topic came from a coaching session that I had last week. And the conversation I was having with the client was about saying no at work, which is our second point. That being in an environment where you're taught that you can't say no means that you might just keep taking up work from other people all around because you don't know how to say no. Those words don't come out of your mouth. Let me tell you, especially in the corporate space, that is not a good thing. Who respects the person who says yes to everything? Because you kill yourself, you're busy. I know this firsthand. You're just busy. I used to work until I don't know what hours in the night. Why? Because there was this and then there was that, and then I just couldn't say no. And I felt that I liked working, and especially if you've moved away and there's nothing else for you to do. You don't realize this, but workaholism is a means of coping with something that you do not want to address. You're internally not fully aligned. Your nervous system is not doing okay. So you're distracting yourself by working. And through this, you're just saying yes to everything. You're not necessarily happy. Like my client was really unhappy because she felt that everyone else was not good. Why don't they work like her? Only to realize that the work ethic in the country that she was in is very different. The work mentality that we both got from our separate homes is very different from this work mentality that we found in this new place. So other than judging the people we found here as being lazy or not working enough or just being very different in terms of their approach to work, no, the input is to see that this mentality that we brought back that says that you must work yourself to the bone to be worthy of life. No, 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 no. In Sweden, they have the summer break that spans for like it's a super long break. People usually take around 4 weeks or so uninterrupted. And for me, that was mind blowing. What would I do with all that time? But it's a different culture. They don't understand why I don't have the habit of taking such a long break. And that's it. It's really good to go somewhere else. And this is the thing to learn as well. Going into a different culture, into a different society, helps you shake up the beliefs that you had. These things that you thought were fully grounded and that were absolute. When you see other people doing things differently, that gives you the perfect opportunity to question these things that you have in your gut, in your soul, in your being. um, I should say that at the end we're going to go through, these are 6 points of things that you might note, and at the end of this we're going to look at how to address them. So like, subscribe, tell a friend about this. Yes, and my details are those. That is the website, shirondune .com, and Lost in Our 40s. That's the YouTube. That's the name of the podcast on YouTube and Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. Cool. So let's carry on. Number 3. This one, it's imposter syndrome. The imposter syndrome. This, for me, when moving, was such a huge, do you call it a monkey on your shoulder? And I'm glad to hear more recently, after I made my move, that it is very common. At the point, I did not know that. I just thought that I have cheated everybody. They brought me here, but they don't know that I'm not the person that they thought I was. I don't understand why they have brought me here, because that's not me. I'm really, really tiny and small. I like the book by Viola Davis, Finding Me, because that is exactly what she speaks about. That this is her own, Viola Davis, of all people, her own experience is that when she used to go and negotiate about a certain role, she said that she would send her representative. So just being herself, but because she herself didn't think that she could do it, she would send her representative, which is just her, and the her that has permission to be audacious and to claim all these amazing and wonderful things that she actually wants, and she'd hang back because she herself did not think that she was worthy of it. Viola Davis. So don't feel bad. Don't feel bad if you have imposter syndrome. And one of the things to realize is that they got you, specifically you. You went through a process to get to where you are. And they wanted you. They saw the things that you've done and they wanted you. And that's the other thing to do. Look at your track record. Because sometimes we lose sight of this. We lose sight, we think that this whole new big strange place, how can we possibly look at look at your past, look at what you have been doing, and even write it down if that helps you. Because that will then help you understand that you are actually in the right place. Listen to podcasts and other women talking about how they've gone through the same thing. And this will help you realize that you are not lying. You are absolutely where you're meant to be. You can do it, and you will do it. You will do it one step at a time. Just believe in yourself. And that belief, we'll talk about it coming forward, how to get those guts. How to get the guts to actually tell yourself that, chick, I got this. I got this. Because you do. You truly, truly, truly do. Mm. I want to mention something. So I want to mention my book, of course. Date Like Cleopatra, The Good Girl Flips the Script. This, yay! No, I entertain myself. So this book is available on Amazon. Date Like Cleopatra, The Good Girl Flips the Script. Please go out and get your copy because it talks a lot about the good girl syndrome, which is really a thing. So when you do find yourself having this particular kind of mindset, how do you deal with it in the relationship sphere? Go get it. Okay, so where's number four? Number four, another one. The effects of racism on you. I read a book by Richard C. Schwartz, No Bad Parts. And in that book, though that book is about something really different, he mentions the book is about having the different parts within yourself. And I'll have another session on that one soon, very soon. But he mentions how racism affects us. Racism affects us as individuals. And I've done a podcast about this, and you can get that. I'll show you where. He mentions how the history of the world makes it such that you, whoever you are and wherever you are, have been impacted by racism in some way. So, if you have moved from your country to, let's say you live in Africa, you're part of the African continent, that's where you're from, and you've moved to Europe. So, ideally, you've moved into the kingdom of your previous colonizers. And in your country, there is some means of looking at the white man. And depending on how, I don't think it really depends. You might not see it yourself, you're not consciously aware of it, but you might find yourself doing things and acting in certain ways that you wouldn't have expected to. It could be that you have become coward. You're really small, coward as in, making yourself small. Or that you claim, you just hate everybody. Just think that everybody, these people are terrible, these people are awful, these people, blah, blah. And yet, none of that is based on the fact of your experience at the point in time. You find yourself either completely being against or aggressive against somebody, or you find yourself being completely small and it could be a mouse. Whenever that person says something, you're there, yes, master. And you don't understand it in yourself. This is the impact of what racism has had on you. Regardless of where you're from, regardless of where you've come from, the history of the world has affected you in some way. I'd advise you, please go watch this one. This is a podcast that I've done specifically on the issue of battling your own racism. Mm. Okay, so again, we are here. That's me. ShironDune.com if you want to hear more from me, if you want to get my newsletter, if you want to get my blog, see my blog, just learn more about what I do, get in touch for coaching, do a course, just get hold of me at ShironDune.com. Yes. So number five is belonging. This one is a little more obvious, but no one really, when you're leaving your country, you don't realize how much of a difficulty it might be to find a community. So a like-minded community, it could be someone, maybe you like crocheting. So you're looking for a community that knows how to crochet. I'm terrible at crocheting. I don't even know how to sign it. Point being, it's might be that you're so used to having a community around you. You have all your friends, you have all your relatives. Everyone you've ever known from primary school perhaps is in the same country as you, or in the same village, or in the same town. You know where to get what you want, you know how to engage with people, you're used to that. So when you're moving, because your mind is probably more on housing, jobs, things like that, very structured things, how to get into a community might not really be the first thing that you do. I had a conversation once with a couple. They were Americans and they had moved from one state to another. I can't remember which ones, but very far off from where they used to be. And they had left everyone. They had left all their friends and family. And the girl particularly was concerned because her husband made friends like this. He did strange things actually, though. He went online. I forget what platform he used, and he had a very specific thing that he did. It was some kind of game, but not so much these video games that everyone plays, and not so much chess, but a very particular kind of board game that he was very passionate about. And he went online, like on some, I would say Craigslist. I don't know if that still exists, but something like that. Just this kind of notice board place where you go and ask for people who are interested in doing what you're doing. And he posted it there. And within a very short time, he created a community of, I think they were like 7 people who met every once a week, every week, and then they played this particular strange game. And he was very happy and he was very settled. And he was working. I'm not sure if she was. I can't remember. So she felt, ah, what is she meant to do? How the hell is she meant to get set up or set down? And what she did is that she was encouraged by her husband, and she joined what's it called? Oh, I had it. This dating site. There's this dating site that allows you to also have friends. It starts with a B. I can't remember. I don't know why I can't remember it. But she joined that one. And I've actually done that myself. I met a very good friend on that site. Ah, it's yellow. I remember, I can see it. It's yellow. But she met someone, and because she had such an intention, she had actually been telling the universe this is what she wants to do. She truly, really, really wants to meet someone who she can engage with. Then she did. She interviewed friends because she wasn't looking for 1,000 of them. She was just looking for a couple of them. And she, in fact, met one who scared her to the extent, not really scared her, but the exactness of how this person met the exact specifications that she had put out to the universe was so odd. And with that, she started then doing other things. She's interested in church. So she had her own church base where she was from, but she started then just going for church activities, just, in fact, interviewing churches more or less. So going to different churches and finding, what are they called? Interdenominational churches that fit her vibe. That's what she was doing. And then she was, at the point, she was just getting out more and more. And I was really heartwarmed by that because I thought, yeah, that's really good. That's something amazing that you're doing. And I should tell you, the reason we're having this conversation with them is because I had been in the same hole, more or less, because I had moved into Sweden, I had moved into Stockholm, where I live, and I wasn't too sure on how to build a community either. So one of the things that I did is that I started an Airbnb experience. Airbnb, other than having, and this is not an advert for them, they're not paying for this, but other than having the accommodation option that everyone knows about, Airbnb also hosts experiences. And you can have any kind of experience that you want. Most of them are touristic, but mine was something different. And this is how I managed to engage with them. And it was for me really great because what I did is that I've been able to meet a lot of people through it. People from all around the world, people I might otherwise not have met. So community. So do that. That's on belonging, finding things that, sitting down, figuring out what you would like to do, and telling the universe. I truly believe in telling the universe because what that does is that it points you into the direction of what you would want, because you don't know what's available. But if you have the intention and you're telling the universe, this is what I want, then you just find certain things cropping up along your path. Like how I found the Airbnb experiences was highly unlikely. I was traveling somewhere, and then I was looking for an Airbnb to stay in. And then just there, I just so happened to see that tab that says experiences. It's probably been there for quite some time. I didn't know, I'd never seen it. And then when I saw the experiences there was one particular, I was going to Poland, and Dansk was the town. And there was a particular experience that just seemed so great. It was a guy who was, what do you call these people who make jewelry? I forget the name. I'm not sure what they're called, but you would work with silver and create your own, like a chain or whatever. Unfortunately, when I was there, the weekend I was there, it wasn't available. But that was so cool. So my point being, if you open up yourself and tell the universe that these are things that you want to do, you'll just find opportunities just strewn on your path. Things that you would not have expected become available. Now, here I have a warning for you, my dear sister, my dear girl. Beware of your countrymen. I will say it again. Beware of your countrymen. Mm? 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 Have you heard me? Have you heard? This is something that a lot of women I have conversations with share. Let me put it this way. What could happen is that because you are in a foreign land, it's not so much that they target you, but they target you. Because you're a little desperate, you don't know how things work, so you become you lose a bit of your guard. You're not as guarded as you would be. You're not considering people in much the same way because you're just so happy to see someone who's from your own country. And my emphasis here is especially around dating, because of your vulnerability. You might find such great strengths in these people that you would not necessarily have found if you were home. This is someone who you would not have given your number to if you were home. Mm. But because now of the situation that you're in, you're just so happy to have someone to talk to. Really, really beware about that. Beware about that. Maybe you want to let yourself settle in a little first before you start venturing into the dating fields. But also, even not just men, even women, people generally, if you are so desperate to find people who are like you and who you belong with, you might find yourself lowering standards even for your friends. You find people who you would not hang out with if you were home. I have a friend who says that she's a Kenyan girl living in Sweden, and she says that when she meets a Kenyan girl, even the first thing she asks herself is this someone I would hang out with if I were in Kenya? Such a you're not you're removing the fumes of desperation. No, 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 no. Your standards are still high. You want people who are worthy of you. So don't just open the floodgates and let anyone in. So that was belonging. Oh, the last one is microaggression. This is something I did a video on recently. I did a video with her recently on just this topic, and she said something beautiful. She said something that I think is a quote I shall carry for quite some time. She said, "Do not negotiate yourself out of a lived experience you've actually had." How amazing is that? How amazing is that? Microaggression is when someone does something small, maybe not 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 completely aggressive. They're not in your face telling you, you're this, you're that, or cursing at you. No, no, no. It's just something small, something subtle. But it makes you feel a certain kind of way. And the thing with it, the reason I really loved having that conversation with her was that I was completely unaware. No, not completely. It's I didn't have a word for it. I was experiencing something that I could uh, not quantify. I could not I could not look at. I just knew that there were emotions and feelings that were coming through me, but I did not have a why. I did not understand what was going on. So it is until I got the word microaggression that I realized that, aha, this is a thing and this is the power of words. It is then that I realized that, wow, this is a real thing and this is a real issue that affects lots of people. And in my case, it happens I mean, I've traveled a lot, so it happens in many small ways. And more often than not, the person who is doing the act doesn't necessarily even mean for it to be bad. And I'll give you the example that's very common. Where are you from? Someone asks you, where are you from? In and of itself, that might not be a bad question. It might not be an issue. But part of the messaging of that question is, you're not from here. You are other. So as an other, where are you from? And once if you're living in a country that's not your own and you hear this multiple times a day, it just makes you feel othered. Your sense of belonging is completely taken away, because these are people who are ideally telling you you don't belong, you're not from here. They're not telling you go back where you came from, but they are subtly giving you a message that affects you emotionally. And that's the thing with microaggression. And it's unfortunate. And it's also unfortunate, as we said in that video, that sometimes it's you, the person who's gone through it, that needs to educate the people who are perpetrating it, that what they're doing is harmful in some way, because possibly they blissfully don't know. So go check out that video on microaggression, and learn more about it. It was a really informative bit, and it also said what to do when you reach there. Now we get into the section of this video that is on what to do. So the solution to all of this, if any of these 6 points are things that you've been noticing and you're asking yourself, how do I manage this? What am I going to do? Am I stuck forever? Do I have to stay like this? I got you. I got you. The thing you need to do is not about the other people, but about yourself. You honestly are the reason that you experience life the way that you experience it. And in this case, it has to do with your belief system. You need to declutter your belief system. You need to go think of it like an old suitcase which is dusty. That was somewhere that no one ever goes at all, in a store that had been forgotten. Then you go there and you start removing things, removing things, removing things. You take it, you look at it, you see whether or not it serves you anymore. If it doesn't, you throw it away and you get something new. That is decluttering your beliefs. That is how you declutter your beliefs, because it is your belief that is making you feel affected in certain way, but on account of racism, as an example. It is whether or not you carry them yourself, even if you're not consciously aware about them. In the video I mentioned, I talked about how the history of Africa, as an example, means that there has been generational passing on of certain beliefs. And even if you think that I cannot possibly have this in me, this is not me, of the 21st century, and I'm too modern to think these things, if it is within your system, you need to look at it, see it, engage with it, and it's like unplugging it. It's like unplugging something that's within your hardwired system, and you're saying this cable serves me no more, I want to get rid of it. Pick another cable, plug it in instead. Exactly what we're doing with our beliefs. So identify the story or the belief. Identify. So when you find yourself shouting at someone because he spilled his tea, he spilled his tea, nothing to do with you, but you're shouting at him. Ask yourself, what is going on? What is going on? It could be, now my mind is still on the racism example. So because you think that white people are terrible and they always do terrible things, and he's white, so you're shouting at him for pouring his own tea, and everyone is like, what the hell, what the hell, what the hell? Sit down, take yourself quietly, take yourself to a quiet place, sit down and ask yourself what was going on. When you get engaged with yourself in a quiet place and you tune your mind internally, tuning your mind internally into your system, into yourself, will quite often help you understand what the source of your emotion was, what specifically it is that triggered you. Because it could be tea, perhaps when you were young, you were told never to pour tea. It could be that you were poor when you were young and you could not afford tea. And therefore someone pouring tea is like such a terrible crime. Either way, so these sitting down will help you understand what it is that triggered you, and then will help you see how to deal with it. If we take now my example, actually, let's take mine because it's a real example. This example where I was at the fridge and would have to let everyone else shoot before me. What was my teaching? It was my good girl teaching that other people are more important. You must let other people go first. And in my case, I had thought that it was grounded even in the church, because I thought that story of Christ telling someone, you remember the story where there's a party and someone takes the important seat, and it's a parable, and someone takes the important seat, but someone more important than him comes, and then he's told to step aside. That story has really always really struck me, and that's what I was doing. Maybe these people are more important, I need to step aside. So I mean, it's how I absorbed it, rightly or wrongly. And the thing to do is always, of course, to forgive yourself. Forgive yourself. These beliefs have been ingrained into you. You might not like them, but they are there. If you see them, forgive yourself for having them and uproot them. How do you uproot them? The thing is, who told you? So you identify the story of the belief. You identify who told you this. If you believe, like in my case, that is how I went through the pattern, that other people need to step in front of me to the fridge in the supermarket. Who told me this? Then I came to think about it and I thought, it was just how I was taught. This is who told me that. In that case, I think it was this belief from my I want, well, my understanding of the church's teachings. That is where I learned it in the church. Yeah. Who told you that? Do you still want to believe it? Is it a belief that you want to maintain? No, it didn't serve me. I realized that it was making me small and making me feel less than. I did not enjoy feeling less than. So it's not a belief that I want to keep. What's your new belief? My new belief is that I am as important as everyone else. I get to stand my space when I'm in the fridge. And so now that's more often than not, I don't even notice it. If I'm at just the fridge, there's someone behind me, I don't pay the mind because I have changed that mindset within me. I've unplugged the wiring that was wrong and put in a new wiring that is good. So yesterday, as I told you, is I noticed it when I was just walking in the streets. So that told me that, aha, I have managed very effectively to deal with the what do you call it, with the fridge situation, but I needed to also deal with this more wholesomely in other situations. So because I saw it, I go through the same process and then I unplug it and put in my new belief. In that situation, what I did is I did it real time. I noticed it happening and I said, I'm standing my ground. And I did stand my ground. And it turned out that this person wasn't running off for an emergency. No, they were in not much of a bigger hurry than me because we didn't. Our paces were more or less matched. So from that perspective, I realized that yes, it is work in progress, but it is good work to do. Write it down. Write down whatever your new belief is, and now we're talking affirmations. A lot of people think that affirmations are these crazy things that only certain people do and they're crazy. I'll tell you personally, for me, it has helped me because it's this process of unplugging and plugging something new is really difficult because it is how your brain is wired. Your brain has been wired in a certain way for such a long time that creating a new pathway within your mind where there's a new story takes some effort. You're not just going to tell yourself, this is the new me, this is what I believe. You can and you should, but it takes some repetition. It takes some repetition for it to go in, and it takes some action. The action is the example I've given you just now, of having this person walking behind me and determining that I shall stand my ground. It initially feels off, it initially feels scary, it initially feels wrong. Wrong because it is going against the grain of what you've been taught before. So, to create new pathways within your brain, you need to do the new activity and then you repeat it and then you repeat it to help you not feel as, to help your nervous system not react as crazily by doing something that is against your grain. Affirmations really help because in the affirmations, you're telling yourself, you're recreating yourself. What I did is I look at myself in the mirror every day in the morning and I had a list of affirmations that I would say. And then you tell yourself, I am important. I am important. I am important. And looking at myself, telling myself had an effect. And the repetition also had an effect. But the other thing that you do is to feel it. You feel the emotion of importance because you're letting yourself be important. You feel it within your system. And you reach out to the important version of you and let her take charge. She is important. You are important. I am important. And once you feel it and you have this repetition, it starts becoming second nature. At some point, you ask yourself, why is this something I'm repeating to myself in the mirror? I know. I know I am important. And this is how you're changing the cycle slowly. Instead of always being in this pathway that you don't think you can change things like that. It's honestly just a decision. But beyond the decision, there is this work. There is this work of continuously believing it. When you believe it within your bones, you believe it within your system, the blood flowing through you believes it. This is how it's going to change. This is for all of these steps, all of these things that I've talked about. Imposter syndrome. Tell yourself, I am worthy. I know my stuff. I can do this shit. Tell yourself that in the mirror. The other options I had here, because that was the in the mirror. Oh, I found one recently that I think is just absolutely amazing. Put reminders on your phone. Whew. Get your reminders app. Put reminders at odd hours of the day, repeated variously during the month, during the week. And the reminder will just pop up and tell you you're awesome. What this is doing is because you're telling yourself all of this so often, your mind starts believing it. There's just so much evidence in that direction. I am awesome. I am awesome. The next one would say, I can do this. The next one will say, I have the community of my dreams. So you just shake them up based on what it is that you want to do. And you see it so often, you get to believe it. You can just put it as a, what do you call this? The screensaver. Is it called a screensaver on your phone? It's a drop. And it's a really pretty drop. I like it. I like it very much because I had heard somewhere that someone say that you are the universe in a drop. And I found that so beautiful that I am the universe in a drop. Everything that the universe contains is in me. I am as important as the universe. As in it's such a beautiful message that I truly liked it. So I would walk around looking at that. So whenever I looked at my phone, then that message would be there at some level. I am the universe in a drop. Do the same. I think I have one more. Let's see. Oh, find a song. Find a song that affirms whatever it is that you're saying. You're beautiful. If you're trying to be beautiful, then just play that part of that song on repeat. On repeat before you sleep, just when you wake up at those hours in the morning or the night. You know, when you're around sleep is when your brain is at the theta wave. So your you have easier access to your subconscious. With this ease of access to your subconscious, it's easier to implant things there. Things that are these beliefs that you have that you're not aware of are in your subconscious. So by looking at that window of opportunity to put things directly into your subconscious is another way of plugging in these things. You'll start to believe it and change your experience. If you fall back, notice, forgive yourself, and reaffirm. Falling back happens. It happens. Or you might find new areas that you didn't even realize are an issue to you. It's okay. Forgive yourself. This life is a journey. Life is you experience different things, and that's really the point. You experience things and you grow. Allow yourself to experience things. Allow yourself to grow. Don't be too hard on yourself. Enjoy yourself. Remember to be within this energy within you that is beautiful, this beautiful energy that experiences life. So, this place is very cold, it has a lot of snow. Experience it because this is very different from what you used to, perhaps. Or if this place has, I'm thinking of where it's very busy, it's much, much more busy than you used to. Or look at that and experience it. Sit, take a step back from thinking about it and be in your body and wonder at it. Wonder about how this place that is so busy manages to exist. That these people are somehow able to do whatever it is that they're doing. And they understand they can get there. That this cold place manages to grow things, stuff like that. So look with more wonder, less complaint. Complaining is negative energy that really doesn't take us anywhere. Yeah. Yes. So again, like, subscribe, and tell a friend. I truly appreciate you being here. You are the best. And before, last but not least, remember, date like Cleopatra. The book is out. Go get yourself a copy on Amazon. I appreciate you, my sunny girl. I appreciate you so much. Thanks for sharing your time with me, and have a great time. Bye bye.